All right. We are live, everybody. Hello. Welcome to another installment of Self Care Through the Advent Calendar based on my childhood Advent calendar and the different ornaments that are on it. Squee! So, I was doing a bunch of course videos earlier, and so I have all my makeup on to realize that the mic didn't work. So that was a lot of fun to realize that all those videos don't have sound. Rolling with the punches as it goes. So the symbolism for today for your self-care is the fishy. It's a little fishy. So with the fish, I am reminded of that childhood story that I think most of us have read about the special fish, the rainbow fish, the happy fish, who was all glittery and amazing, and yet nobody really liked him, couldn't really fit in, and so he gave up one of his, what are they, scales. Oh, it's been a long day. One of his scales to everybody, and then everyone had one scale, and everyone was just a little bit special. No, 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 no. This is the same with the Rudolph thing. Like, you can only be different, unique, or special if it serves everyone else. You can only be different, unique, or special if it's productive for the general public. Oh, wow. I love these childhood stories in general. I hate the message behind them. Hate, hate, hate. So, being special or different, like, and weird, quite frankly, weird, does not in any way mean that you have to do things for others to make up for or to blend in. Now, social norm states don't throw poo at people. So, like, there's a solid bar that's above that. But this concept, especially during the holidays, that you have something about you that you really like or that others don't understand, and all of a sudden, either has to go away or become useful to other people to make it worthwhile, to make it worthwhile to spend time with you. That is not okay. So, through this self care, I want to remind you that you do not have to conform to anything else. You also don't have to give pieces of yourself up. You don't have to, like, oh, well, this piece of me, this person likes, and this piece of me, this person likes, but everything else has to be kept in a closet, under a chair, in a box, behind a closed door. It doesn't. Let your freak flag fly. As I have said multiple times throughout this series and through all my other social media, go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated. And if you have to mutilate yourself in any way to become palatable, that's a problem. If you have to rip your own scales off so that everyone else feels just as special as you, this also goes with diluting yourself. So, making yourself a watered down version so that you are more consumable is hard for a lot of people. I hope they choke on your sparkle personally. Let them choke. It's fine. You're fabulous. Again, this is not intentionally being antagonistic. This is not meant to, stir uproar, but it's meant for you to be comfortable with yourself and empowered to be your authentic self at all times without having to conform to others in the form of, like, hurting yourself. Because guess what? Shutting part of yourself away is really difficult. I, as I have stated, no longer spend time with my family except for my parents, because my parents are lovely. Because during holidays, one of the big things was is that I had to play it straight. Everyone was fine that I was queer as long as I didn't talk about it. And that's just taking yourself, and it's like, okay, I'll just put this part of me in a box because this part of me is unlovable by the people in my life. Oh, think about the message that you're sending your soul with that. This part of me is unlovable to the people who are supposed to love me unconditionally. So let me shove it in a box and put it underneath the bed. That's not the goal of the holidays. The goal of the holidays is to shine bright and be fabulous and have people love you for who you are. So the sexuality one is a really easy one, a really easy example. It's a gimme example. It's low hanging fruit. But what are the things? Some people, again, like, don't be offensive or awful if your sense of humor is like dead baby jokes and you're in front of someone who has children or someone who has miscarried, which actually was a conversation recently. I was at a party and someone had said, I want to tell a really off color joke. And I'm like, well, what's it about? And they're like, oh, something really weird. And I was like, dead baby joke? And he was like, no. And another guy was like, there's nothing wrong with those. And I went, phew, unless you lost a child, which I have. So you better step up off it. He was like, oh God, no, no. As I'm like charging him, like walking up, like, you want to fight me, dude? I still got mama bear. I still got mama bear inside me. And he was like, nope, noted. Those jokes not good around you. And I'm like, those jokes not good around most people. But, and I'm not trying to censor anybody, just letting you know that compassion is real. So if that's the thing where you're like, I don't want to put that in a box, put it in a box to show compassion for other people who may have different life experiences than you. However, for the things that are just part of you, like your sexuality, like your dietary restrictions, or God forbid, just what you like to eat, not even a restriction, but something you're like, I like yams. And everyone's like, no, it's all rice all the time, whatever it is. So it's really about, we do this all the time. We do this all the time with society and people in our lives and our family and our businesses and our work. We hide certain things. And there's a difference between consciously exposing certain parts of you in a time that you want to and being empowered to do that versus hiding. I am very public with a lot of stuff that goes on in my life. However, my private life is very private. My personal life is very private. And people don't usually get that because so much of my life is up here for all of you to see. As I do things and talk about a lot of things, but the things that I don't talk about, it's because it's my choice. It's not that I'm hiding anything. It's that I'm being mindful about what aspects of my energy I get to expose to people and who has the privilege of seeing certain facets of me. And not everyone gets to see all the facets. And that's the same for you. You get to expose the things that you want to expose. And you're not hiding. You're just being selective. So if you come at it from that point of view, from that mindset, from honoring yourself in that way, absolutely. But if you have to cut chunks of yourself off, literally or figuratively, to fit into your family, to fit into wherever you're going during this Advent season, that's a no. That's a hard pass for me. Because so many people, and I say mutilate because it is like it's this idea of cutting into your own psyche until all of a sudden you fit some kind of box, but not all of you fit in the box. So you had to just kind of either hack away at parts or like a bonsai tree it. Not everything that is this way is obvious or big. Again, like sexuality, it can be little things. It can be the bonsai tree of cutting off parts of you to make you fit. So it can be little subtle things that you don't even realize. It can be not eating what you want to eat or as much as you want to eat, or maybe intentionally eating more, because we've all had that family that goes, you want seconds? And you're like, no. And they're like, yeah, you do. And they flop potatoes on your plate. We've all had that person. We're all like, oh, I love you so much, but I waddle now. And not that waddling is bad. I'm just saying, like, overeating is a thing. So if you have to take pieces of yourself off to be with family, I do not agree with that. If the eccentricities are only accepted if they can be made productive for other people, like your OCD does really well with cleaning up after everybody else. And that's why your quirkiness is accepted, because you always do that. No, thank you. I was expected to clean a lot growing up. And so one of the things that I learned when I got sick is that I stopped cleaning. Like, I stopped cleaning up after other people at holidays. And that was so liberating and freeing for me to not have that shame and guilt. But it also, to my family, they were all horrified that I was not waiting on other people. This was hard for all of them to understand. And they gave me a very hard time for it. I do not regret that. I do not regret making that decision. I do not regret saying, I'm not going to wait on any of you. I am your equal. You can all take care of it yourselves. You can always help out. but you should never be less than anyone else. Your productivity and what you bring to the table should not determine the level of love, affection, or respect that you get during the holiday season and year round. These are things that we forget. The other thing is that somehow we have to give parts of ourselves to other people, and it's almost like a gift. It's our energy is our gift to them, but they're determining what we give, like that fucking fish book, where it's like, well, everyone deserves one pretty scale, so let's strip all yours down and hand them out to the family. No. And I feel like that happens. Side tangent, but totally on point. People who have money, like this has come up several times with my colleagues, is that there'll be one family member who's done well or better than the rest of the family, and somehow they're expected more than anybody else. Oh, well, you have the money. Oh, well, you have the space. And it's not, hey, can you do this? I know you have the space. It's, oh, you have this. If that noise is at the beginning of any conversation that someone has with you, blow a raspberry at them. Like, oh my God, no. And so it's like, no. I have a colleague who, she is the only one who has a big enough house to hold the entire family, but it is not, hey, you have the biggest house, it makes the most sense, what can we do to help, could you do this? It's, we're going to be at your house. You have enough space. I don't know why you wouldn't want us to be there. Are you saying you don't want to spend the holidays with us? Whoa. That is toxic and awful. This also goes with gifts. I have had certain of my colleagues and my friends do better than others. Certain of my clients also. A lot of my clients are six-figure millionaires and multimillionaires. And they will get told, well, you should be giving me bigger gifts because you have the money. What people don't understand is boundaries are real. And with that, what's yours is yours. Your time, talent, expertise, money, energy, all is yours. And you decide who you give it to and in what amount. There are certain people in my life that I give above and beyond on a regular basis. Everybody knows who it is. If you have ever tuned in before, you know it. Say it with me now. Mom. Mom gets a vast majority of things, but let's be real here. She gave birth to this and dealt with me in puberty. So if she asked me for a pony, I'd find one. She asked me for a unicorn, I'd find one. So there's stuff like that. There are people that you just go above and beyond for. And everyone's like, well, you do it for them. Why don't you do it for me? No, because it's your choice. It's your mindful choice of what you actually have in you to give. And it's deciding who gets the privilege of that. And that goes both ways. Other people are going to decide what privilege you get. And do not feel entitled to anything during this holiday season. I was recently given a box of chocolates and I lost my mind. It actually happened today. Chocolates ended up on my doorstep and I cried. I was so touched by this box of chocolates. It was amazing because it came at the exact perfect time. And it's like, it's a small gesture and it's like, but it meant the world to me. And if they would have like showed up with a car, I honestly probably wouldn't have appreciated it as much. That sounds so bad. I probably wouldn't have appreciated it as much as I do the chocolate. I'm like, yay, chocolate happiness. Car would have been like, why? So however someone wants to give you the privilege of their time, talent, expertise, energy, money, be grateful, and vice versa. Like, be aware of who you're giving to and what you're giving to and be mindful about it. Be mindful about what goes out. That is a form of self-care, is just being aware of where your energy goes and who has stabbed a crazy straw into your auric field and is now just sucking your soul out. It's just good to be aware of who's doing that and how often and how much and how quickly you can yeet them out of your life. All of that, very important. I actually explained what yeet is to my mother this past week. And I got to say, I think she's on board with the yeet. I got her cussing. Mom cusses now, not often, but I got her cussing. And then got her saying yeet. I do not have her saying sus yet or riz, but I feel like we're getting there. We're getting there. So don't mutilate yourself for anybody, especially family, especially if you're only seeing them once a freaking year. Don't give more than you have. That goes back to yesterday, not giving more money than you have. This is just being mindful. This is not stripping away everything that is special about you to become palatable for people. It is okay for people to choke on you. It is okay for people to be uncomfortable around you. It is okay for people not to want to be around your authentic self. If everyone likes you, you're doing something wrong. If everyone likes you, you are not living your authentic self. Because I guarantee in this diverse world filled with opinionated assholes, someone should not like you, preferably at all times. Be aware of that. Self-care, boundaries, super important during this time of year. If you need help with this, link in the bio. I am here. I am ready for you. I am totally into this. This is going to be awesome and wonderful. I have faith in all of you. And if you need anything, I'm here to help. Be the hero of your own story and have a great night, everybody.